Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market report for Thursday, May 23rd, 2019. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. You'll notice here that price had developed a very narrow range here over the last 5 sessions. As a matter of fact, if I make the PivotBoss Advanced ADR indicator a 5-day range here, you'll see that it was compressed here. That compression signal right there suggests that a breakout is coming, and that breakout could lead to a significant move over the next 5 to 7 days. Typically speaking, in the current market, when we've had a high range 5 to 7 day range move, it's been about 90 to 100 points. So we'll keep an eye on this range right now, but we are currently breaking it to the downside. I mentioned to my traders yesterday that if the first break, whichever direction it occurs, happens, watch for signs of a rejection, because if it breaks down first and rejects, that could be a big upside move coming. If it tried to break up first and rejected, that could have been a huge continuation down. Right now we're seeing a breakdown and starting to see a little bit of play off of the previous low there. So we'll just continue to watch this. Overall, we're still inside this key range with this midpoint here. We'll continue to watch the boundaries of this range for bigger moves here down the way. But right now we'll see if this thing can see further expansion here down the road. Now if you look at the NQ, you'll see a very similar move. This one's already approaching the prior low. So we talked about yesterday that after you see a significant move like this and reject, at times you gotta come down here and test this low. Now it's going to be what happens at this low that determines the next move. If there's a rejection here, it can easily come back toward recent highs. A failure to hold that low would suggest a continuation with targets down the way. So overall, this is going to be a very important test. We're getting the break to the downside, and we will see how price responds to the recent low of 72.90. Looking at crude oil. Yesterday, the key level we were watching for the intraday pivot was 62.70. 62.70 was our important level to watch, and price got right up into 62.70 and sold off away from it. And right before the crude oil inventories report, price ran through into the 62.70s and rejected hard. And then the crude oil report came out, and this thing dropped right into our 61 target. A very nice move, and is now trading 60.36 off of that range. Again, we talked about the narrow 3-day range that had developed here. On an intraday basis, it was a 4-day range, and we mentioned that if it can't hold, it could see a big move down. A breakout in either direction could have been big. In this case, it chose down. Now we're here at these lows. This is an important level, right? 60 bucks. This is where we bounced last time from the 66 highs. I mentioned that this 10 handle range suggested we were about to go 6 points, which points to 60 evens. It got to that point, and now we're sitting here. So we got a range between 64 and 60. Very narrow 4-day range over the last month, and we will see if we start to break down out of this range. So 60 is going to be an important test. A failure to hold that level opens up more weakness to 58. A rejection of this point brings us back up towards 64. So keep an eye on 60 in the near term. Lastly, take a look at gold here. You'll see this gold right now continues to resemble that rounded top I keep talking about. Continues to hold the 1270, the new pivot here. Has formed a narrow 3-day range that is now turning into a 4-day range, although today has been mostly uptrending behavior. So I would watch at this 3-day range here. Very, very narrow. If I double click down here and double click, alright, double click again, and make that a 5 to a 3, bring it back up, and over here you'll see that it's a very narrow compression over the last 3 days. 45% of average at 8.8 points, normally has a 19 handle range. So gold, are we about to see a breakout here? Is this about to be a stop run day up? We're already pushing and testing these 2-3 day highs. If we start to break out again on a 3-day range basis, we could go about 30 handles. So if we break to the upside at 1280 over the next 3 days, do we go up to say 1310? That could be, obviously it would be breaking this range right now, but where do we go? At the very least, we go somewhere between 1287 and 1300. But again, narrow 3-day range. How far do we go? Somewhere between 23 and 30 points. on a breakout. Perhaps that could be to the upside if we start to move through 1278 here today. So keep an eye on that. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.